And what we find is that if a small business doesn't pay their employees their wages, they quit. If they don't pay their rent, the landlord kicks them out. If they don't pay their suppliers, they get cut off. But oftentimes, if they don't pay the IRS, it may well take the IRS several years before they wake up and take the steps to notify you and to start making collection effort. And if that happens, people are often in a situation with their business where this is snowballed, because once they fail to make the first deposit, it oftentimes is hard to get back on track and start making deposits again, and it may create a huge liability. So one of the things that we find ourselves doing in this office is trying to work with small businesses to either get them into a situation where they're able to get back in compliance and then work out a plan to take care of the past due amounts. The IRS takes a real serious view of employment taxes. They take the attitude that this money was withheld from your employees' paychecks. It isn't your money, it's our money, and you took our money. And they can get very aggressive about collecting. The other thing that we find is oftentimes if a business is shut down and it was a corporation or an LLC, they will assess at least a portion of the taxes against the individuals who own the company or who control the books of the company. And that's called a trust fund recovery penalty. And I talk more about that in another tape. But nonetheless, it's a situation where you need to consider that this liability is likely not going to go away unless it's dealt with. So the solutions that we come up with to assist our clients in getting their trust fund penalty and their payroll tax liability straightened out is, the first thing we do is to get them on track, to get them to start making the deposits when they do the payroll. Because the IRS is often as concerned about whether or not the current payroll taxes are continuing to be delinquent or whether they're being paid. They simply won't allow people to continue to pyramid their liabilities and continue to fail to make their payroll withholding deposits. So one of the things that we do with our clients is to get them on track and to get them into a situation where they're making their payroll withholding deposits for their ongoing payroll if they continue to have employees. Then we start looking for solutions. And there's a variety of solutions. And to a large degree, it depends on whether they're still in business or not. If the business has been shut down, it becomes fairly simple. We determine how much they personally owe, and we look at making arrangements to resolve that, whether it be the trust fund liability if they're a corporation or an LLC, or if they're a partnership or individual, it's the full liability. For ongoing businesses or for businesses that are shut down, there's a variety of things that we can do. One of them is to get them placed in currently not collectible status. Another is to set up an installment agreement. Another is to do an offer in compromise and offer to settle these taxes for what they can afford to pay rather than what they owe. I'd note that offers in compromise for ongoing businesses are more difficult to do. For starters, it requires that they be completely, perfectly compliant for 2 full quarters before they're allowed to even submit an offer in compromise. The point is that they take a very hard line on payroll withholding taxes. And if you're in a situation where you have payroll withholding taxes that are delinquent, you need legal help. And you need it right away, sooner rather than later, in order to try and get the situation resolved in your favor.